Hello, good afternoon, Calgary, and good evening, Chuempala. I'm very happy that you could join us here. And so we have lots of people that are tuning in from around the world. You are welcome from Scotland, from Mwandi, from Solwezi, from Winilunga, from Kelenka, from Zambezi, all these places. You're welcome today. We have very exciting guests, and we have, as usual, very exciting topics. We are going to give you a few minutes to spread the word around. Invite as many people as possible because of the nature of our panel today. We want to hear more of what is happening in Barotseland, in Western Province, in Mwandi. We want to know what is happening in the north. And so we are going to be joined by a candidate from Malole. Spread the word around. Tell everybody that TV Bakwetu is on. And now I will be joined here by my co-host, Mr. Norman Chipakupaku, who is going to introduce our guest tonight, who is going to tell us a little bit more about what is going on in the constituency of Mwandi. General Chipakupaku, over to you.
Good evening, Chuempala. Good evening, Namibia, because I've been made to say Namibia because there were two people listening in Namibia. They said, if we don't mention Namibia, they won't watch. Good evening to our friends in Stockholm. Good evening to my good friends in Mwandi tonight. Special guest from Mwandi. And I would also like to say good evening to our friends in Mfulira, my hometown Mfulira. And good evening to all our friends in Dundumwezi tonight. Tonight, and Musha, by the way, how is your day? It's afternoon in Canada. How are you doing?
It's afternoon. This is lunch. I've already had my shawarma platter. So ninjikuta.
I thought you were going to say you've had your kandolo platter.
We're going to do that. When we begin exporting kandolo, when Mwandi begins exporting kandolo to Calgary, I'm going to be having kandolo from Mwandi.
Thank you so much. Let's get going. Musha, tonight we're being joined by two guests. The first one is already here with us, Sibeso Kakoma, from the UPND, candidate for Mwandi constituency, Kwabulos. And we'll also be joined by Ms. Chikokola Mulenga from Malole. And I hope she'll be able to join us. We had a problem of the North connections yesterday. Look at her. She has got beautiful connection. I don't believe that she's in Mwandi. I think she's in Namibia, this lady. What do you think?
Josephine Fine.
Okay, now let's get going. Sibeso Kakoma is an accountant. Accountant by profession. She has had a lot of experience. She's a daughter of a former MP for Mwandi, and she was one of those who fought hard. She's the only female UPND candidate in Barotseland, Western Province. She is very, very interested in Mwandi because she was born and bred in Mwandi. And I thought this was going to be a very interesting area because Mwandi is one of those constituencies which is being fought for very hard by PF. I think the opposition, which is the PF, she will tell us the name of the person, a high-profile PF candidate standing there fighting our Sibeso. And we want to welcome you, Sibeso, to this discussion tonight.
Thank you so very much for having me. I'm really grateful.
I know I've not done good justice on your introduction. I wanted to be brief because we are getting the second guest. I know you're very experienced and you're very passionate about Mwandi, and there are so many things happening in Mwandi. First of all, how did you get involved in politics?
So like you've rightly said, I was born, bred in Mwandi. And for those that know the history, for example, of Mwandi, know that my father was also area member of parliament for Mwandi. He's actually a freedom fighter. So I was born in a political family. But one of the things that really brought me back to come and stand in Mwandi is that every time that I did a visit to come back home, and everything was still the same. The constraints was very, very underdeveloped. So no matter how much I was working and working in the international NGOs, I was not getting the satisfaction, because when I came back home, it was still the same old story. So I said, let me go back home and try and move things. So my passion really has been just trying to make sure that things move, and also to see the constraints develop. So that's where this has come from. I was born into a political family, and from that the interest has, I'll say it's inborn. So it has been there.
That's fantastic, too. So I remember your father very well, because
Really?
one of the freedom fighters, and
Yeah.
Mwandi is so special to me personally, because the chief there is one person I served with in the UNIP Central Committee, Vice President then Chief Inyambo, Senior Chief Inyambo, and that constituency is a special place for me. Now, who is the PF candidate?
So for PF, we have Iris Kamikaingo, who is also the daughter of the former member of parliament for Mwandi. So we have another lady right in Mwandi. So it's Iris Kamikaingo.
That's fantastic. So it's two daughters of two former MPs of Mwandi.
Yes.
Fighting it out. And in that case, then it's the grass which suffers. When two elephants fight, it's that grass that suffers. Now, yes. Sibeso, our programs, we always love for you not to speak English only. You can also speak Silos. So more tweeted. So when we ask you a question and you want to express yourself in Mwasilozi, Mwasilozi.
And Shangwa, that will be an honor.
Fantastic. So the first question is, how is Mwandi politically? What is really happening? I know that Mwandi is one of the very, very least developed constituency. How many wards do you have?
So what is happening? I'll start by the first question. What is happening in Mwandi politically is that people are ready for change. As I've mentioned, we've been in the opposition for quite some time, which means that Mwandi is very, very underdeveloped. This is for a fact. When the VP came here, she actually mentioned to say that we are stepchildren. So which means that development has not touched Mwandi. If you come to Mwandi, you'll be very, very shocked. It's very, very rural, and everything else is very, very poor. Like, talk about our road network. Our network, I'm surprised that I have this connectivity today. Our road network is very poor. Our schools, talk about water and everything else. So politically, Mwandi is ready to free themselves from this bondage that we've been in. And the bondage that I'm talking about is moving from the PF.
We need. Sorry, what's this? We might need to do something with the sound. Are you able to remove the headsets and just connect directly? Might that make a difference?
Yeah, because I think we're getting a feedback. That's better.
Okay, so now, yes, please.
Is it better?
Yes.
So like I was saying, Mwandi is ready for change. We've been in the opposition for quite some time, which means that Mwandi is very, very underdeveloped. So even the VP, Wainongewina, mentioned it herself when she came here. She said we are stepchildren as a result. They have not brought any development here. So in as much as there's everything, a lot of activities that are happening, Mwandi took the regular 12 August. We are ushering in a new government. So we are ready for change.
I think the second question really is that the number of constituencies you have and the number of voters.
So in Mwandi, we have 12 wards. Like you also might be aware, Mwandi is also one of the biggest constituencies that we have. So we currently have 12 wards.
And how many voters are that?
We have 14,029.
Okay. And you are fighting against the vice president who has visited your constituency twice so far. Yeah. And a very powerful lady called Iris Kaingo, who has got connections with PF. And what is the story? What is this I hear? That the one department, the DMMU, is flooded. I remember months ago seeing DMMU distributing vegetable seeds with Iris Kayingu on the photograph of the vegetable seeds. Is this still happening?
Yeah. The DMMU is also bringing in a lot of things in Mwandi, corruptly, I should say. First of all, during campaigns, one of the things that we, the UPND, stand for is that the governments should be separate. They should not get involved in the government should not get involved in campaigns. But what we are seeing here is totally different. We have people that are abusing government resources and bringing them, For example, let me give you an example. DMMU. Last year, here in Mwandi, nekuna nitala. What I mean is that the Canadians had to come on board to come and help the people here. We didn't see the millimil that is being distributed then when there was so much hunger in Mwandi constituency. But now that it's time for elections, these people are coming and bringing millimil on board.
Okay. Is she frozen?
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yes, I lost connectivity. So what I'm saying is, follow Zamaela farm. Lonaba UPND, we are saying, alulatimu chai to summer government resources forces. Meaning we do not want anyone to use government resources to do wrong things. So but DMMU, yes, they have been here, they've brought a lot of things just to try and boost Iris Kayingu. And then just to correct, when you say powerful woman, I think that is quite overstated. So I mean overrated. She's not powerful. Well, I know she's working with the government, but powerful no.
Well, I have to be very careful what I say, but I'm going to say powerful because she's got powerful connections in the government. That one we know. Now, before I hand over to Munsha, our viewers, some of them have never been to Barosale. They've never been, they don't even know where Mwandi is. How far are you from Livingstone? How far are you from Mongu? And how far are you from Botswana? How far are you from Namibia? And how far are you from Lusaka?
So, from Lusaka to get to Livingstone is 472 kilometers. And then from Livingstone to Mwandi is like 121 kilometers. But for you to cover these 121 kilometers, you'll be on the road for 5 hours. Because from Kazungula to come to Mwandi, the road is terribly bad. So for you to drive from Kazungula to Mwandi is about 3-4 hours for you to get here. So from the 120 kilometers that we are talking about, for you to get to Mwandi, you drive here for literally 5 hours. So from Sisheke to 5 hours. So from Sisheke to Mwandi, from Livingstone Mwandi is about 190 km. So Sisheke to here is about 70, 80 kilometers somewhere there from Sisheke. But the road network, is, like I've said, is extremely poor, very, very poor. So 100 km is like 5 hours drive from Livingstone to Mwandi.
I think let's go to Munsha. Munsha, over to you.
So thank you for joining us, Bosiwe. So we really appreciate.
Thank you so much for having me.
Honored by your presence. So just tell us a little bit about your profession. You say that you're an accountant. What else have you done?
So I've also done project management. So I'm an accountant by profession and also did project management. So, I'm an accountant, yes. Okay. And I did my accounting at Evelyn Horn, after which I worked for a parastatal. And then for the past 16 years, also I've worked for international NGOs.
All right. So what does your campaign need at the moment? We have 2 weeks to go. What are your biggest needs?
So my biggest needs right now really is material. And also the 12 wards that we're talking about, we have 39 polling stations. And these polling stations are not, villages are not near polling stations. So which means that what we are going to do is to make sure that those people that are in areas that are very, very far from polling stations, we are going to bring them closer. So that on the day that we are voting, people are able to go to the polling station as early as they can. Remember, PF has brought a lot of money and resources into this campaign, and they are willing to do anything just to make sure that they get this seat. So what we want to do is to give our voters mobility so that they are near the polling station. So that's one one of the resources that we need to make sure that our people are in camps where they can get into the polling station as early as they can. And the second thing is really material, So for, like I've said, we have 12 wards. The transport needs for you to move from one ward to another is quite a lot of work. Like I've said, our road network is equally poor. But and also we also need to make sure that during these 2 weeks that is remaining, we are protecting our vote. So we have voters that we have already, but we need to make sure that those votes are protected for the president, the MP, the council chair, and our councillors. So we have to make sure that we also work extra hard in that area to protect our vote.
All right. So what are the other constituencies that Mwandi covers or borders? Is it Sesheke?
Yes, we have Sesheke, we have Mlowezi, and we have Katombola constituency on the other side.
All right. Now, I think we're going to make a transition here because we do have another candidate from Malole. She's trying to come in and out. I don't know what's happening with network there. But
sure.
What message do you have for the people of Mwandi? Please speak to them. Some are listening. Some it's Mwandi, which is their village and things like that. So we want you to speak directly to the people of Mwandi. What is your message?
So my message to the people of Mwandi is that it's time for us to be liberated. I mean, we are now making that journey in the Bible from moving from Egypt to we are going to the promised land, which means this time our vote or our voters card should make sure that our voters are voter. We are voting to make sure that we improve the road network in Mwandi. We are also voting to make sure that our children have access to free education. I mean, I think most of you would agree with me that some of you are beneficiaries of the free education that we had then in Zambia. Free education. We are also voting this time around to make sure that our children access to secondary schools. As big as this constraint is, we only have 3 secondary schools, which means that a child that is growing out there in Magumo in the past to grade 10, the only available secondary school is almost the only available school for them was secondary. Zamaya, they have to be in boarding school. We are voting to make sure that people have access to clean water. For example, when you go to a ward like Adons, you'll be shocked. They literally have no access to pumps. So vote making us sure we vote of money. And also we also want infrastructure development. Here trade schools, for example. Trade schools but waluna baba employed making us sure so that our schools can have desks. So our vote for this year is to make sure that access kwa infrastructure. We are also voting to make sure that we liberate that woman out there. We bring forth women empowerment. It means that you are bringing the development right at the home. I mean, in a home. I mean, in every home, a woman is the center. So what you are saying is that development. We also want to bring corporations. For example, you're talking about Kandoro. Just also make mention. I have a word, Shukula and Lwazamba, which are very good. They have these farms, but they have no way of selling their produce. So
by Ngulu, what's this? What is Ngulu?
So Ngulu is sweet potato. So Ngulu in laws is sweet potato.
All right.
So when we say Ngulu, it's sweet potatoes. So we have people that are growing sweet potatoes, but they have no market for them. So what we are saying is this year we are voting to make sure that that farmer out there who's working tirelessly hard to make sure they produce, they have a market. We are also voting to make sure that our roads, the feeder roads, are also developed. So that when that farmer grows that produce, they are able to produce the intended markets. We are also voting to make sure that that person, that woman that is selling fish in Mwandi has a market, because you don't have markets in Mwandi. Women are still selling fish under a tree. So when it's raining, they have to run and back and forth. So we want to make sure, but we are starting on markets. So this year, our vote, there's a box that is here where all these are checked under the UPND under the leadership of Hakainde Hichilema. And then this is a box that people need to go and put their vote on so that they can secure the future of their children. Our voter, because they've been given that 100 kwacha. That means that had that 100 kwacha is received, for another 5 years, because we've suffered. The people in Mwandi have suffered. They've suffered enough. So this year, we are voting for the UPND under the leadership of Hakainde Hichilema, because what we want this time is not thinking about tomorrow. We want to plan for generations to come. So this year we are voting for UPND, and all those things, all those ticks, please tick them to make sure that so we refuse to vote limba kulikacheni chile 100 and we forget everything. Sorry about that. So Alupangema choice that we can liberate ourselves.
Okay. Now, one more question. Thank you. Thank you for speaking to the people of Mwandi from your heart. So does Mwandi have a district? Is it like a district and then a constituency?
Yes, it is.
It's like so it's Mwandi district.
It's Mwandi district.
Okay. And then from the district, that's where now you reach out to several other wards around it.
Yes.
Okay. And so you are targeting all those wards, bringing people together, helping them with transportation and everything else.
Yes. But we are targeting all those wards. There are wards that are near to the polling stations, but we have wards that are really, really rural. And also the old women. We have people that are voting, and you find that they are quite elderly. So they are not able to walk from their villages to where the polling station is. So on the day, so I'm mixing laws and English. So you have to make sure we find ways of bringing them to come and cast their vote. So we have to make sure that they are transported to nearest to where the polling station is. Yes.
Okay.
So in all the 12 wards.
Yeah. I always ask this question to every candidate. How many schools have you got, and how many hospitals, and how equipped are these schools and hospitals?
So if you heard what I said earlier, I said, for example, in Mwandi constituency, with the 12 wards that I have 3 secondary schools. So those secondary schools, 2 of them are in Mwandi and 1 is in Limpopo. I don't know, you've been to Mwandi, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So we have 2 here and one in Limpopo, and those are the secondary schools that we have, and feeding into all the 12 wards that we have. So we have the schools, for example, but you'll find that we have even the secondary school, when you go to Simongoma, has no laboratory. So the schools are not equipped. When you're talking about primary schools, it's another story. I wish I could share live pictures. You'd feel so bad for the children. So we still have primary schools that are under the government with 1 teacher teaching from grade 1 to grade 7, and they have no desks at all. No desks whatsoever. We have hospitals. We have the Mwandi District Hospital, the one that is right in Mwandi, and we have Mushukola and Magumwe, the clinics that we have, and we have this. It has reached an extent where the villagers themselves in these different wards, they have to build a clinic on their own just to make sure that they can have access to miliani, medicines. So the situation, in as much as we have these hospitals, they are not equipped. You can imagine that in this day and era, we still have women that have to work for 7 hours or 8 hours for them just to be able to access maternity. Okay. So they are not equipped at all. Like I'm saying, Mwandi is very, very underdeveloped. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So the hospitals have no medicines. Even when you're in Lusaka, whatever it is, they write for you a prescription, even if it's Panadol. So miliani malipatela hakuna. Our people are suffering out here. And when we're talking about, for example, maternity and waiting homes, basali bana nukunna nhakuza kwa sankolonga to come and wait to deliver in Mwandi, because there's no maternity, for example. So they have to walk for long distances to come and deliver in Mwandi. So our clinics are not at all equipped. Our hospitals, clinics is another issue. It's really, really bad. It's really, really bad. The conditions that people are living in, very, very bad. So
the final question was is that you are very close to Zambezi River.
Yes.
And you also produce certain crops, and you are also very close to neighboring countries. So how are you utilizing the Zambezi, and what are you producing? How would you encourage your people to produce more, and where would you sell these products?
That's a very, very good question. Thank you so much for that question. So what the crops that we grow in Mwandi are plenty, but one of the crops that we grow in abundance is maize, right? So the only access that farmers here have in Mwandi, we sell our maize to FRA, but also the produce that we produce differ from word to word. For example, I was just talking about Zambia and Mshokula. When you go to Zambia and Mshokula, we have the potential to grow the sweet potatoes and make sure that we have deliberate policies that are put in place to help those farmers in Mshokula, so they can, when they produce, they have access to a good road network. They produce can be sold. So let me give you an example. I've seen so many things that are happening currently. Cooperatives that are making sweet potatoes, they dry them, and we hope one day we can also supply to Scotland. I mean, dried sweet potatoes, so that we can have them there. So there's so much the farmers are doing, but because of the road, the bad road network, that those produce that they just end up being wasted. So first of all, we need to improve the road network in all these different areas. And then secondly, for example, when you go to Magumwe and Sankolonga, there's a lot of livestock. But when you go there, they don't have access to dams, for example. Never kalima. I mean, they have the animals. They don't have a vet clinic, first to start with. No, they don't have access. The animals don't have access to water. So which means that in as much as there's this potential, there's a lot that we need to make sure that we are there for ground. Farmers access and the other thing, we also need, for example, abattoirs, where these people can easily sell their meat. Someone who's in Magumwe, for them to be able to sell an animal, they have to come all the way to Mwandi. So we need to make sure that Mwali Lananda more improve access, for example, even just a deep tank. There's nothing. There's no deep tank when you go to these areas. Totally nothing. They produce a lot of milk that goes to waste. So all this, we need to make sure that we open markets for these farmers. We need to put in policies that we encourage farmers to grow more. We need to to make sure that my policies are on highest advantage, especially my farmers are in rural areas. So we need to improve our road network to make sure that those areas are accessible. We need to have the cooperatives that will make sure that so there's a lot that needs to be done to make sure that the farmer out there is encouraged to make sure that they grow more. We also need to improve sheds. So the sheds also where they can sell maize to FRI. You find that the maybe 3 wards has 1 shed. But if you have a shed in each and every ward, it means that farmer out there will so we need to improve the market for the farmers out here. And also, we need to also make sure that we invest. For example, these farmers that are growing groundnuts, how do they improve their productivity? So, because I invest my extension officers, because advise identify by they grow more, and also giving them the knowledge on what they can do with the produce that they do.
Okay, thank you so much, Waslet. So, there is some feedback. I don't know whether it's our guests with the feedback. There's somebody on the background talking. And
I'm also getting the same feedback. Just kindly, someone should mute their mic.
I would suggest, so don't go away, but mute yourself.
Sure.
Can you mute yourself, but don't go away?
Yes, I can. I've muted.
Just mute yourself. Thank you so much, but don't go away. Okay, now let's go to, oh, good Lord. Our viewers, we have a problem here. The Western Province, Mwandi has got good signal. People in the North, I don't know, Musha, what's wrong with our people in the North? Musha, I thought this government was saying they brought development in Northern Province. They put everything in Northern Province nice and why can't our people connect?
I can remind you something that the PF keeps claiming that it has all these bedrooms. Katuishwa PF nganimpa libao papantu, Eastern Province ati niku bedroom kwao. Northern Province ati niku bedroom kwao. Muchinga ati niku bedroom kwao. Nakulu Apula, efe baranda ati ni bedroom yabo. Number, when you go to these bedrooms, if you are under Princess Beauty Piri, Undi, yesterday, Usheni nebo general narera ndefyo?
Yo, I think the Princess Beauty Piri was right.
What did she say?
When you go to Chipinda or your bedroom, in the Eastern Province, they call it Chipinda, which means your bedroom.
Right.
You must look after that Chipinda. You must look after that bedroom. You must buy good beds. You must have a good carpet. You must make sure that everything is clean. But this Chipinda in the Northern Province, they can't even have a good connection.
Wafia.
So it's strange. Bachilufia, Mulenga, Chikonkola, good evening and greetings from Scotland. Are you able to hear us? Good evening, Bachilufia.
Okay. I think we are still experiencing problems. So what's beso? You can bring yourself. So even where PF say claims that where they've been taking the money, because you see, Western Province is underdeveloped, Mwandi is underdeveloped, but even Luapula, Milenge, it's equally underdeveloped. There are no roads in Milenge. The same has happened. Clinics, they just come together and then they create a huge ceremony with Dr. Bonanza. So Dr. Bonanza would come there in government vehicles, gather around the teachers and nurses, and then pretend as if they are building a clinic or a hospital. They even sign and put a huge placard that this is the Ntwenikane hospital. And then after they do that, they disappear. So Milenge, where I come from, our ancestral home, remains undeveloped. Nishi, where has this government been taking all this money that they've been borrowing?
Mosha, they are even, just a minute, they are even boasting to say they are going to have a 24-hour economy. You can't have a 24-hour economy when you can't get hold of somebody in she's actually in Kasama.
Right.
So that is very strange. So Bosibeso, it's just very interesting to hear what you've told us. And I know that Western Province, especially your constituents, there's a lot of timber there. What are you doing with your timber?
So if you taking you back, that's one of the things that I've said. We have a lot of timber in Western Province, for example. But as I'm speaking with you right now, we still have kids that don't have desks. What we can do, our timber, I mean, when you go to Lusaka, you'll find our timber there, you know, but it goes just as timber. What we want right now is a trade school here in Mwandi, so that our people do not take that timber as logs. What we want to do is for them to be able to do value addition, for them to be able kupangama desks right in Mwandi. I mean, we should have one of the best desks because we have the timber. You know, so and we should be able to also produce desks for the schools in Zambia. So we are looking forward to when the UPND comes into power to introduce a trade school. That trade school is going to empower a lot of youths because we can make desks, you know. So we also have a cultural center that was built some time back, which is just, I mean, a white elephant, literally nothing happening there. So we can make sure that to art center, why is that transform, you know, kupanga matenima desk and also bring back the culture that we had. They do all sorts of things. And those things, you know, when you go, for example, kwa Livingston, we see a lot of arts, but come and it attracts a lot of tourists. Looking at Mwandi, we have a road that connects us to Namibia there, and we have a lot of tourists that pass through here. When we introduce that, we can make and also supply Zambia desks. So to answer your question, yes, we have a lot of timber, but do we do any value addition in it? No. Currently, we don't. So we are looking forward to making sure that why UPN daba winner, loeze add value kwa timba yalona. Ivele kona mwezi wani Zambia kafera. So we're looking forward to that.
Thank you so much. Chilufya, are you able to hear us from Malole?
The network is bad, eh?
The network is bad. She's unmuted. Chilufya Mulenga, good evening. Are you able to hear us from Kasama? Are you able to hear us?
All right. I think we are having issues with network in Kasama.
The final question is from me. The Zambezi River. Some of the best fish I've eaten is from your area, from Mwandi. How would you try and help harvest that fish and grow more fish in a sustainable way without damaging the Zambezi River, but making sure that the local people benefit from the river, but at the same time to make sure that, when you talk to the people in the north, they tell you that all their fish is gone because probably they've done overfishing or there are a lot of things. So what are you doing about the Zambezi River?
Oh, that's a very good question. But before I get to that one, I also just wanted to touch one thing before I get to the river. We are speaking about network, right? And in this era that we are in, we have seen COVID hit us so bad. Did you know that out of the schools that we have, for example, in Mwandi, only a very, very few are connected to network, which means that in this era that schools have closed because of COVID, the children in Mwandi are not able to e-learn. Which means that here we have children that have never seen a computer in their life because one, are on a network, two, we don't have rural electrification. So we are talking about a child that is growing up in Mwandi who has never, had access to internet, for example, because they're on a network. So just speaking about my fellow colleague who's failing to connect, I'm so happy they have connectivity. But when I go to my village, for example, you can't get hold of me because I'm on a network. For me to be able to call someone out, they have to go and stand on a hill, drive maybe even 2 kilometers, stand on a hill to be able to go. Even the reception is very, very bad. So we are also looking forward to making sure that when the UPND comes into power, or every school should have access to a network. So that in this pandemic that we are in, children are able to learn online, they're able to e-learn. So currently as it is, children where I come from in Mabumbu, nothing. They're just seated. They can't learn. They have to read on their own. They can't do research online. So we are looking to making sure that when the UPND wins, every school should have access to network.
Now let's go to the Zambezi.
So now we are going back to the United.
General Litapi, too much. General and Litapi are like this. Where there is general, there is Litapi. Where there is Litapi, there is general.
I love my Litapi.
You love it.
I don't eat red meat, but I eat fish every day. So what are you doing about it?
So actually, before I answer your question, I would also boast that we've got one of the best Litapi in the world.
I know that.
Our Litapi is very, very nice. So coming back to...
I'm coming for that Litapi. I'm coming for that Litapi.
Please do. So speaking of the Zambezi River, there's so much that we can also do to make sure that they've run out of fish. They don't run out of fish. For example, you spoke about our chief. I should also boast that we've got one of the most intelligent chiefs. Our chief is very, very learned and also very, very intelligent. So speaking of the Zambezi, yes, we have that Litapi that we have in Mwandi. One of the things that we've done, Moma Mwandi, we make sure that Litapi zale, we only wipe it out. No, we use, I hope you understand me. You said you know Mwandi very well.
Mix English and laws. Most of them don't understand laws, but we want you to speak your language. But if you can also try and translate it into English, that would be good. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So we are making sure that we are also trying by all means to reserve Litapizalo na Mazambezi, but at the same time, this fish that we get, for example, the fish that we have here is very, very good. But we have to make sure that we need to make sure that we brand, This is one of the things that I talk about. We have Mongo rice, for example. It's very, very branded. When you go there, you see this is Mongo rice. So we should have a way of branding it so that people people that love the fish from Zambia should be able to say this fish is coming from Mwandi. So we want to make sure that the fish that is here is branded. But speaking about preserving, what we are also doing, that we have fish pans, for example, just to allow the fish to breed. But what we can also, when we have those fish pans to allow the fish to breed, we make sure that we are introducing fish farming in Mwandi. For example, there's fish farming already in Mwandi here, Mwandi as a word, but we make sure that this spreads out. For example, Komagumwe and all the other areas, so that the time that we allow the fish to breed, more fish farming. We have projects like Zayelo. I think you've heard about Zayelo. They are doing very, very well. So these are projects that we also want to. I beg your pardon?
Yeah. I'm saying
these are projects
by Mwale in Siabonga.
Fisher Mwale, yes. So these are projects that we are able to bring to Mwandi. Kulwama words more is introducing fish farming. So our people do not get, we can do fish farming in these areas. So yes, we have fish pans to make sure that we preserve our fish. But in addition to that, we can make sure that we also bring in fish farming in these all different words. We have it in Mwandi, and we're looking forward to making sure that fish farming is also grown in these other words.
Okay. No. Thank you. So, General, you wanted to say something?
I wanted to say something. I just want now to appeal to all our viewers, especially you, the laws-speaking people of Western Province, the ones I know, like Likezo Masua, because I know you're watching. I want all the laws-speaking people I know that are in the UK, in Canada, in America, and all other friends, all our viewers, but especially the laws, because I want to embarrass you tonight, the laws. Get your credit card out. Lisu Masua, Likezo Masua, including Frank Saliki, and your relatives. I want you to give some money to this lady to help. And in the UK, we're not allowed to give numbers unless you authorize us to give you the numbers. And you must also tell us whether it's Airtel or MTN. So that I want the first person to give you money tonight should be Likezo Masua, because I know she can give you, especially Likezo, she should give you not less than 40 pounds. She can. So now I want to embarrass the Lord tonight. Now listen, are you authorizing us to give them your number?
Of course, please go ahead. My number right now is no longer private. So it's a number for the people, so that the people of Mwandi can call me at whatever time that they want. And also, it's also for the people. You guys can have my number. Everyone else can have my number. It's a public number. It's no longer private.
So can you give us the number?
So my number is +260 977 5956 77, and the network is Airtel. So I'll repeat that again. So my number is +260 977 5956 77.
Now to our viewers, I know you are very good at helping. The money you've given to Princess Beauty is going up. And I got a message this morning from Roderick that he was getting something starting from last night. And I want to challenge you, Likezo. Now, get your credit card out. There's no excuse. And give this lady some money to help feed the people, move the voters, get things done in Mwandi, so that we can beat that PF candidate who's being supported by DMMU. It's over to you, Musha.
All right, thank you very much. Now I'm going to repeat the number: 097 7595677. And so I've said that it's Bosibeso's number. There's a question, General, to say, why are you just targeting the losses?
the laws is tonight, I've got the right because I'm your king. I've got the right because I'm from Mumbo to tell you off the laws is.
Yes.
And you guys, the laws is, you're always saying we the Mumbo people, the Tongas do not cast. I want to see how powerful you are tonight.
This is going to be interesting. So, Wosibeso, please, once you get all that, please just give us a short note and let us know how much has come in. Because we have a huge network of people around the world that are interested in your campaign. It's 14 days to go.
Yes,
we know that we can't match the prowess of the lions of Mwandi that are coming and landing their aircrafts and bringing their katundu from all over the world. We can't match them. But there is something we can do. And that is why we brought you here. And that is why all the generals people, they are going to contribute and help out. Thank you for coming. We are certainly going to see you very soon. And most hopefully under a new government, because this show has already endorsed Mr. Hakainde Hichilema for president. We make
thank you so much.
We are very clear that Mr. Hichilema is, of all the candidates, of the two top leading candidates, we took Mr. Hichilema, looked at his program. Then we also looked at Dr. Edgar Chagwa-Lungu's program. And then we compared the two. What we found was that Dr. Edgar Chagwa-Lungu's program is completely wrong on the economy, wrong on common sense, wrong on human rights, wrong on human development. Everything that you can measure, you can see that Dr. Edgar Chagwa-Lungu has completely failed. Now, because he has failed, he comes up with what we call the Kelenka plan. So the Kelenka plan is a plan where you know that you have failed. And then when it is almost time for the elections, you begin manipulating things artificially. When we looked at President HH's program, what we found was he had a plan for the debt situation in our country. He had a plan for education. Why can't we? Why should we even be pretending as if no, we are neutral, shani? No, we are not neutral. Exactly. 7 years in power. Kwacha was 10 Kwacha. Kwacha dives. He now instructs the Bank of Zambia. Ukuya sendem piesha mu Bank of Zambia. Elo bachita flood market lelo. Ukuya chita flood market with dollars. Because bachita create an artificial a currency thing. It's a crime actually. It's known as currency manipulation.
It is.
Naba Bank of Zambia governor, naba pango mlandu. Currency manipulation. General, should we let Wosibeso go?
I just want to find out whether there's any question from our audience, just 2 questions for the candidate, and then we can let her go.
All right.
Any two questions from our audience?
They are all positive comments, General, because all they are saying is they like the candidate, they like your candidate, your party's candidate, because Wosibeso, nangumbone kafino, ine IMNDC. So
that's a good one.
So you are General's candidate, you know. So I'm very naive here, you know.
Mosha, before we move on, I got a comment from one of our viewers, and he says, "You people laugh too much on this program. You are putting us off. This is not ZNBC. We laugh here because this program, this Welcome to TV is for human beings. So when we laughed at the 3 of us, some people don't like it. I don't know why." So,
General, I'm a very serious person. Extremely serious. I don't like laughing. Ni mwemulengo kwa tindeseka. I'm serious. And then suddenly you come up with all these things that you come up with, and then I can't resist, Kuseka. I'm sorry.
Okay, Muncha, if the comments are positive, now I'll go to my people, the people from Southern Province. You also boast, you always boast to say you love your cousins, the Lozzies. This is your time to shine also. And I know that there are too many of these people. Oh, what has Ligezo said? Kanga Irisi, Kika model.
Guys.
Cannot make a good politician.
Yes.
Ligezo Masua, you are naughty. She's not a model. She's just a son of a politician. But our candidate is the best. I don't want. Yes, I am here, General, and ready to contribute to Osibe. So, yay! I thought so.
Thank you.
Come on, I know. Who else is making a comment?
Muitwa Muchindu, Kubota Mina, you know Bantu.
Come on, Southern Province, give us some money, guys.
Yeah.
So unless there's another question, because you've got such a good constituency, Sibeso, and you've got such hard-working people. You've got all the resources. You also got Namibia next to you. You've got Botswana next to you.
Yes.
So what is stopping you from making Mwandi one of the capital city of the Western Province? And you've got not only that, you've got a powerful chief.
Yes, we have.
Yeah,
I just wondered about it.
I worked with the chief in Yambo. I know him. He's such an intelligent chief. It's not like this chiefs you can go with a brown envelope. No, not the Inyambo.
No.
Yeah.
Because he is self-independent. He works hard. He produces fish himself. He's a farm. So you people, you can turn that Mwandi and make it a very good constituency. But you need the road network. You cannot cover 100 kilometers in 5 hours. That's terrible. Yeah. So the road network and the vice president, if she's hearing us tonight, is disgraceful that you can be in parliament as vice president for 7 years and you look at those roads in Mwandi. It's just disgraceful.
It is.
All right, thank you. There is one more comment here. Council Munshan General, you really make the show sparkle. Okay, thank you. I think it's all because of General. I'm otherwise quite boring. General Kelenka. General, please ask Council Munshan to tell us which NDC group he belongs to. Is it the Akafumba, Savoy, or what? How can I answer?
I've asked that question many times. She belongs to the Savoy Imboela's camp, but she doesn't want to tell you the truth. So that's where she belongs. So I've answered on your behalf. So, Bosibeso, unless there's a question or the last thing you want to say before we continue with our program.
Okay. One of the things that I also wanted to bring to the attention, we have the civil servants, right? We have civil servants that are also here in Mwandi. And one thing, I know that they have to remain, they're not allowed to participate in active politics. But also one thing that we want to make a promise to them that when the UPND comes into power, they'll be looked after. Even this state swap that has been promised by the PF is a scam. Why am I saying so? Why are they in debt to start with? That's because the salaries that they're getting are not able to sustain them. So even if the government today is offering the debt swap, come in another 5 years, the debt they have, the debt relief, right? The salaries remain the same. In another 5 years, they're going to be in another debt trap. So what we are saying is that even the civil servants, in as much as they're not allowed to participate in active politics, they need to realize that the PF has no heart for them. In as much as they have all these offers that they're offering them, they are not offers to sustain them. They are only offers to trap them for another 5 years. In another 5 years, there will be another debt trap. So we also encourage our teachers, our civil servants out there to make sure that they vote for the UPND and also the general populace. So I'm sure you've heard about the debt swap that is currently being offered by the PF to the civil servants. So it's just another trap. So they are very, very desperate that they are willing to do anything just to get the votes out there.
We've had a very good debate on the debt trap. We call it the debt trap on this program. So, I would like to say on behalf of Munsha and our viewers.
So, General, you have that name of Likezo too much in your mouth.
No, I said Wosibeso. That's what I said.
You said Wolikezo.
Our viewers, if I said Likezo, I'm sorry. Because I know Likezo very well, but I'm saying Wosibeso. The Tumezi Shangwe for coming on our program today, especially that you are coming from Mwandi, and we thank you so much for telling us about Mwandi. We wish you the best. We'll keep you informed of what is happening. We want you to know that you've got support from us at TV.
Thank you so very much for having me.
All right.
Thank you so very much. It's such an honor. I'm really grateful, and we'll make sure that we'll not disappoint. Even the ones from the NDC. I actually just had I had Mr. Afumba in Mwandi yesterday, so he came and passed through. It was such an honor to have him. So even the NDC, Mr. Elias, will not disappoint you. Make sure that we work hard to carry the day come the 12th of August, because what we want right now is just change.
Thank you.
Change will deliver.
Thank you very much. I'm always the handesha.
It's Mupumule handesha. Mulobale handesha. Okay. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Over to
Thank you so much.
Okay. Now, General, I think our show gets misunderstood, because some people are thinking that that our discussant was wrong to use Lozi. No, on this show, people are welcome to speak any language, and we have no apology to make.
No.
If you don't want to listen to Lozi or Tonga or Ila or Lenje or Ichina Mwanga or Luvale or Lunda, go somewhere else, for goodness sake. This particular program, it's for all Zambians, and they can say whatever they want to say. Abalefo yokulanda mchaushi kutibalanda, aba kuchipata kutibalanda, aba abalozi kutibalanda, abalunda, lubale, fiance. This is what we are. We are TV bakwetu. That's what we are. We are here for everybody. And so we make no apology. In fact, it is us who tell our guests to say, speak in any language that you want. Nifwetu beba. Some of them are resistant. No, we want to speak to all Zambians. When you speak Lozi, you are speaking to all Zambians. When you speak Ichinyanja, you are speaking to all Zambians. When you speak Luvale, you are speaking to all Zambians. So if we have no apology to make, yeah,
first of all, Musha, I find it very, very hard that people think that they cannot learn other people's languages. We must learn their language. No. If you are not prepared to learn other languages, Zambian languages, this is not the right TV for you. Go to ZNBC. This Backway to TV is for our people, and we want them to speak in the language they are comfortable in. English is our national language. If they can speak in Bemba, that's fine. If they can speak in Luvale, that's fine. If they can speak in Kaonde, that's fine. If they can speak in Ichikunda, that's fine. But don't force us to speak one language. No. Because that's not one Zambia, one nation. So, Vachilupia West, are you able to hear us now? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Vachilupia. I think there's a problem in the north. Vachilupia, are you able to hear us? Munsha, what could be the problem, Munsha? Vachilupia. All right. But are you able to hear us from Kasama? No. I think there's a problem in our area. Vachilufia, can you try and unmute yourself?
Hello, General.
No, I think there's a problem. Go over to you, Musha.
General, we can't hear you either.
You can't hear me as
General,
well.
We can't hear you. Yeah, I think General is out. Vachilufia Wesu. All right, General, welcome back.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. So Vachikonkola, can you hear us? All right. Okay, I think we have network issues with Malole, but that is the candidate from Malole. Her name is Chirufya Chikonkola Mlenga. And so we are appealing to the people of Malole to support. General, is there any other topic that we need to deal with? We are already at the 1 hour mark. We need to go to get going. Ningu Fuensala.
I know, Musha. I think the topic which is there is the issue of banning HH and the issue of banning, of threatening to use maximum force. The message is very, very clear. HH and the team will continue. They will continue. They might not fly, but they will continue campaigning.
Right.
If the Inspector General has got enough bullets to use and he wants to shoot, he is very welcome to do that, because this is time to campaign. So that maximum force he wants to use, if he wants to use it, let him use it. But
right.
The campaign is on, and HH and the team will go out and campaign. They will go out and campaign in the north. They will go and campaign in the west. They will go and campaign in the east. And if the police wants to use maximum force, they are most welcome. That is the message which is very, very, very clear. And I think it's not only UPND which is saying that. Even Hari Kalaba is saying that. Yeah. So all the real opposition parties are saying this is very, very unfair. It's meant just to support PF. PF is gone, Vane. I was speaking to somebody in Mansa today. There's no chance that Chitaru Chirufya will win Mansa again. No chance. I spent 1 hour speaking to the Mansa people today. Chirufya is not winning Mansa, and he knows it. Over to you, Tumundo.
All right. The other thing is the kwacha appreciation. Now, simple common sense. Takwa ba currency. You see, that's why they itira HH kobati ni maikalange. Maikalange simply means umuntu wa changero wa kobati giving information. Kuli mwanachiwa. So, vampela mwanachiwa information ena afisenda elo afichita opposite. So, what the maikalange story is all about is, you see, when HH said that when I am installed, I take over at 10 o'clock. By 14 hours, Kwacha has appreciated. This is what he said. He said the reason why the Kwacha will appreciate is something that is known as investor confidence. Yeah. In other words, the entire world has confidence in the new government, and because of that, it stops the free falling of the Kwacha. Nomba. Idio ba umfuire ba UPN ba PF. Nomba mwamo no bwave wakobati HHReranda beno bale umfuire chirea. So kanshi nomba, they went into and tried to research a crime, which they have done today. Now, what is this? I want to explain to you, the people of Zambia, but you see, every country, and Zambia included, has some dollars in its bank that it keeps. Sometimes it's $1 billion, sometimes it's $2 billion. That money is kept by the Bank of Zambia so that if there is war in our country, government can use that for what is known as import cover. so that during that time of confusion, you have some money which you can go and get from the bank. That money is known as reserves. It's kept by the Bank of Zambia. Somebody tells me no, actually the actual cash is kept in London. It doesn't make a difference. So every country has that. If you bachitireva PF, bamonati if into pena. So they have gone into that money. Vaya tula banki idia. Vasenda shidienda lama. Elo number, instead of taking that money into the banking circulation, vaya shtuala kuma bureau de change. Kuma bureau. Eko batuero tusaka tuama dollars and create an artificial appreciation of the kwacha in bureau de change. That's why Mule Mwena, a huge discrepancy between what is happening in bureau de change and banks. General.
And you know, they are not, the PF doesn't realize that what they've done is simply means now our exports are going to be more expensive.
Right.
Our exports to Congo, because the kwacha has just gained artificial value, our exports are going to be more expensive. It will be very expensive to import from Zambia.
Right.
It was cheaper last week because all our products were cheaper in dollar terms.
Right.
And so what they've done, they've dumped 428 million US dollars on the market, creating this artificial confidence. Not only that, they've just been paid by the mines. The last quarter's profits from the mines and the tax, that's the money they've loaded on the market. And they're also telling lies and saying, look, the IMF has given us a good signal because of showing confidence. The IMF and the world, the Americans and the G8 and the world IMF have said there is what we call the special drawing rights, which means they can give their members money to use for something. Like in this case, they might give Zambia 1.3 billion US dollars as a loan to buy COVID vaccines. But right. Mr. Lungu is not telling the Zambians the truth. He is saying, no, IMF is showing confidence. No, Mr. Lungu Mulebepa. Those special drawing rights are IMF special drawing rights for all the members. And in this case, they are saying we are reserving 1.3 to help you cope with COVID. It's a loan. It's not free money.
So now all this, and it happens shortly before the election. And we always tell you that this is a Kelenka government. They have failed to govern from 2015, since President Lungu became president. There has been no rise in salaries for civil servants. Inflation, 24%. That's why 100 kwacha is not buying the same thing that it used to buy in 2015. You know why? Because the president has failed. Teachers are earning far less than they were earning in 2015. You know why? Because President Lungu and his policies have failed. Where has this come from? Overnight, they have now, and we understand that they will continue pumping in. They will continue stealing money from the Bank of Zambia to create an artificial appreciation of the kwacha. What are the priorities that Zambians have at the moment? The priorities. It is not to create an artificial currency manipulation. That's exactly what they've done. Currency manipulation is actually a crime. It cannot bring confidence in an economy. That's exactly what they have done today. But we are not surprised. Pantu tuadimieba okweba chawabantu nibashani niba Kelenka. Ebu Kelenka buinobu. Uba koba tmuafiru wogu teka for 7 years. Elo chida kwa shala 2 weeks. Elo mwasa ituku munati murifia ome. Mweba ome. Mwalikui. Where were you? How do I say where were you in Ila or Tonga, General? Please help me.
Mwaliguli.
Mwaliguli. Where were you? Ati munali kuti. Yonseri tapali efyolechita. Lila kwa shela 2 weeks at nomba na la pere fumo. Ngeli yonse 7 years. Suenzo gwira nchito yai. Wale tamba fe situation. 7 years ule tamba fe situation. 7 years ule tamba fe situation. You are not doing anything. Lila kwa shala 2 weeks nomba. Ero wakosa. Auti na alabo mboyo mulimo. Ni nchito ya bwanji yo. Nshala ndechi nyanja pantu mulanse katamufuaya. Ndela ndechi nyanja. That's why chao shicheka. Ni muli monshuwe munga bombo wakobati. In 7 years, mwafiru waku bomba. In 7 years, abantu wale kwa 100 kwacha, down. Ama lipiro, down. Ama industries, down. Omutengo wa petro na parafin. Fionse, file nini nako. Elo nomba chile kwa shara 2 weeks, na ifo tusumi noko bati yo mkwa inaba bomba. Tali wemwa ume pakumona tumundu na bomba kano mu 2015 afiala, 16 afiala, 17 afiala, 18 afiala, ale fiala fie. Kuti mwasumi noko bati chachine, no kuku fiala kwakwe, no mboku fiala kwako bati kwa shala 2 weeks, na ifo tusumi na teba ume, iyo teba ume. There is something wrong.
Musha, we hear now they want to reduce the price of fuel. We hear now they want to reduce the tariffs on electricity because they're saying, no, we've got more power. Meanwhile, 4 cities in Zambia today had no power. There's a blackout today.
Right.
So if you hear that they're reducing the price of fuel tomorrow, you hear that the tariffs, the price of power has been reduced. They want to buy your votes. Boofy. Yeah. So we're dealing with Kelenka, Musha, and this government, they just are so desperate. The next thing you hear is that go and queue up, will give you a bag of meal, which they've been doing everywhere. This is desperation.
Yeah. So we can't be overtaken by these lies. We've told you, our people, so number when August comes, tuesheko Mr. Haga inde hichirema. Nankwe tukabone fuaka tuchitira. Tukaibwene fuenka. Ngare ateke konankwe. Ngachinshite ateke. Aba 7 years. 7 solid years mwevo. 7 years. Nothing. Tapali nangufimo. Vaire Kongo la fiekaloba. Yeka. Eyo na ina teko bati kalobati bachita kwe fintu ifia mano. Tapali baire kula fifia kula. Nomba chirefu waiko omuntu wako bati ese nomba alete mwe miti mufipatala. Alete mwe machine mufipatala. Engishama uchindi kama doctors. Alete mwe doctors. Alete mwe nasi. Engisheba teaching. Eulefu waiko. Bantu wababa alife bize. Impiye shire pitirila. Kwa libe chalo chakuwa cha Kongola 20 billion ingire pisati sitipaone tatulemona yo tapali hapo shingire na shiruba mwiba umishaluba shani mpia if nomba tuambo kumona appreciation of the kwacha when 2 weeks before the elections Wofi.
Musha, final point from me. We hear that ECZ has printed all the stuff, but the G20 form, which is the form which is supposed to be filled for the results, has been printed, but it has no serial numbers. So what do you think is going to happen?
Our general, I need to have proof of that.
Mosha, for me to say what I've said, we know.
No, I'm not doubting you. I believe you. I believe you, General.
Shindano issued a statement today in Dubai. He was asked this question: why have you printed the G20 without serial numbers?
Yeah,
that's a question which Zambians, especially the political parties, must ask Shindano. because you know what that means?
Right.
Which means they can produce as many G20 forms as they want.
Yeah.
And fill them.
Yeah. Oh, no, General, it shouldn't appear like I was doubting your integrity. I believe you, okay? So when I'm trying to doubt your integrity. You are a man of integrity. So we shouldn't take things at face value.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true, Musha. Yeah. So
okay.
That's why we're asking, is it true? But we hear it's true that they printed G20s without serial numbers. If they have printed them with serial numbers, let Shindano prove it to me. Right. Or prove it to us.
All right. Okay, thank you very much for having joined us today. This has been TV Bakwetu. I think we are going to try again tomorrow to have Miss Chirufia Chikonkolo Mlenga to see whether we can have her tomorrow. There's been definitely issues with the network. Thank you for joining us. For those that want to send stars, please do so. For those that want to subscribe to our channel, please do so. Instructions are very clear on Facebook on our page. Please do so. And God bless you, and God bless our country, and good night. Good night, Chwempala, and good night, Scotland.
Good night.
God bless you.